Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single Monsterverse movie now that Godzilla vs. Kong is out. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Really quickly, before we do get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a new video. But at number 4 is Godzilla King of the Monsters. This movie was absolutely horrendous in my opinion. It was like 99% humans and 1% monster, and the 99% of humans absolutely sucked. It was such a bad movie. We barely got to see Godzilla. Anytime we got to see Godzilla, it was either super dark or it was raining. So overall, it was just a very, very trash movie. I rarely rate movies under a 5 out of 10. And this is one of those movies that has that special occurrence or that special rarity of under a 5 out of 10. Honestly, the movie just sucks overall. I don't really know what else to say about it. The humans sucked in this movie. And yes, that's a reoccurring thing in the Monsterverse movies, but they sucked even more than they normally would. So it just downgrades the movie so much, and we barely got to see any Godzilla. The Godzilla action we did see was pretty decent, but again, we barely got to see him, whether it was visually because it was always dark or raining when we saw him, or just screen time wise, we barely got to see Godzilla, and it's called Godzilla King of the Monsters, so that's why it's at number 4. At number 3 on the list is Godzilla 2014. This movie stars Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen, and they are the two main reasons why I watched the movie. Elizabeth Olsen is Elizabeth Olsen, so that's why I watched the movie. And also, Bryan Cranston is in Breaking Bad, Mr. Walter White himself. I love him in Breaking Bad, so I had to check this movie out. That's practically the only two reasons I checked this movie out. Overall, it was a pretty decent movie. I wouldn't say it's close to the top 2. The top 2, I think, are a different step above these bottom 2. But overall, it was just a pretty decent movie. It had a really good VFX like all the other Monsterverse movies. It also had a pretty great soundtrack in my opinion, and the scenes were just super action-packed overall. It was a fun time to watch. The action was much better than it was in the first Godzilla, in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So overall, it was just a fun time to watch. I mean, it was just an average movie. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. It wasn't anything crazy, but I did slightly enjoy my time watching it. The humans pretty much sucked, but Elizabeth Olsen is Elizabeth Olsen, so she didn't suck. Neither did Bryan Cranston, so that's the only reason I give this movie a slight pass. Godzilla King of the Monsters is much worse than this Godzilla 2014 movie, so that's the only reason why I can't hate on Godzilla 2014 too much, because Godzilla King of the Monsters was just so trash, and it was just atrocious. I can't believe you couldn't pay me to watch that movie again, but Godzilla, you definitely could pay me a certain amount of money for me to sit down and watch that movie again. Overall, I would say the action sequences really did make up for some of the other faults, and that's the case in basically the first two, or the top 2 Monsterverse movies that I have. So overall, this movie was action-packed. It had great VFX, again, great soundtrack. All those things were pretty great. It's just the humans really deteriorated, and then once again, we didn't get too much Godzilla action, but from the action that we got, it was actually really good. Number 2 on the list is actually Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I have a full review on this. If you guys want to check it out, you can click the link in the description down below or the box right up here. But this movie was just awesome. It had great action and it just had awesome camera work. I mean, this was my first blockbuster movie since COVID came out, or my first blockbuster movie that was new since COVID came out that I watched, and it was just super fun. It's just such a good time to watch. I mean, the two titans battling it out. The human storyline on Kong's side was actually pretty decent, but oh my god, Godzilla side, Millie Bobby Brown and that conspiracy theorist reporter, that absolutely sucked. I really hated it a lot. I'm not going to say any spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong, don't worry about that. And my review is spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything like that on my channel. But overall, it was just a super fun movie. Also, the VFX were super good. It just looked super beautiful. A lot of the shots with Kong in his habitat were just awesome. I love the movie a lot, and the soundtrack by XL Junkie was just another level. It had a lot of highs and lows, and it matched the tone of the movie really well, especially in certain areas that it needed to be like super high paced or slow paced, and it just did a great job of capturing the moment and kind of the essence of the movie at that certain point in time during the film. As I mentioned before, the humans really sucked in this movie, and that's probably the worst thing about this movie. It's just the Godzilla side humans. Again, the Team Kong side humans were pretty decent, and that's why I'm Team Kong. But honestly, overall, the humans did suck. They didn't suck as bad as Godzilla King of the Monsters or Godzilla 2014, but nevertheless, they were still pretty horrendous. Number 1 on the list is Kong Skull Island. Now, man, oh man, is this movie good. Now, this movie is such a different step and a different direction than all these other Monsterverse movies. Now, maybe it's because this movie actually has a lot of A-list actors like Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, and more, but their acting was super good. Their storylines are actually pretty good. Brie Larson's storyline as a photographer, and then I forgot the actor's name, but the older dude that was super old and he got trapped on Skull Island, he had to escape. That was also a phenomenal storyline. They did a great job all around with the humans, and honestly, I can't even say that the human storylines were bad. They were pretty cheesy, but other than that, they weren't bad by any means. Also, the battles in this movie with the little skull crawler animal thingies that looked like they were from Temple Run were awesome. The design for these animals and these creatures were so cool, and the visuals once again did not disappoint. I think one reason why I love Kong and his movies a lot more than the Godzilla movies is because Kong is more of a human. He resembles a human more and he has more traits. So when Kong gets hurt, when Kong falls down, I feel bad for him and I have sympathy for him because he resembles so many traits of a human, and that's why his movies are so good. That's why Kong Skull Island is so good, and that's why I think Godzilla vs. Kong worked for me, is because it felt like a Kong Skull Island Part 2. It felt like more of a Kong movie, and Kong is honestly what the Monsterverse needs in order to actually have screen time for monsters, because Godzilla, the most he can do is just fight. He can't have real interactions with humans, whereas Kong can actually have interactions with humans, and that itself can move the plot forward, and you don't rely 100% on the humans to move the plot forward. Overall, Kong Skull Island was a pretty great movie. I honestly love the movie, and I don't even compare it to any of the other Monsterverse movies because it just feels like it's so out of their league. And honestly, it was just such a fun time to watch. And from the humans to Kong, it was just great all around. And yeah, guys, that was my ranking for all 4 of the Monsterverse movies. Let me know your rankings for the Monsterverse movies in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new in here and you enjoy the content that I've been putting out lately. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.